All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live. With Jackson Callum, I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there.
Four and a half years ago, I had a rare stroke and I lost the ability to see and speak. And it took me 18 months to get them back. So I'm just grateful to be on your show or any show, quite honestly. No, I'm grateful to be on your show, but I'm grateful to be speaking again.
Wow. Yeah. That will wake somebody up for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, we can use, of course, all of this as part of the podcast materials. I'm a big fan of pre-shows. So thank you for honoring that and just diving in. Some people come in and like, I'm ready to record. Can we just get going? And I'm like, we can. It's not the best idea, but we can. So with that said, again, I do, it's not about buttering you up. You've got a couple of decades of wisdom. That's huge to me. You have some experiences with challenges, and you've also got an incredible amount of depth built into your website. You didn't spend $1 on your website. I know that. You didn't put 10 minutes into ChatGPT to create that amount of depth. I can see that. And so my bigger request for both of us is I'd love to use this time to find out, are there any strategies that you're aware of or any optimizations from podcast experience you had where you can say, Jackson, if, I don't know if you've seen this thing, but if you guys can do this, it might make it even better. You've seen things I haven't in life. And I may have seen some things that you haven't in life. And if we can share those, then that allows us to, I think the hidden key with podcasting that I just never hear talked about is, well, there's two. Distribution is the one that sometimes gets talked about, is how do we distribute this as well as possible so that those who are in need of it can be intrigued, attracted, and inspired to want to take action with it. And the other piece of it is the one nobody ever talks about. I've never seen a keynote speech on infrastructure.
Right.
But if we have the right infrastructure, that's how we sustain all these wonderful people trying to cross the shoddy bridges in the business world that people can't seem to cross. So,
good
thoughts, Alan? Any questions, observations?
I mean, the key for me in everything I do is to just get people to know about kind of me and my book and the ideas I have, and hopefully how they'll be helpful to them. And, my kind of passion, and I've written 4 books, is all about showing people that innovation is not just the domain of a few clever people. In fact, innovation is something everybody can do if they're curious. It's all about being curious. And so I'm just trying to get people to be more curious about the world around them and to find something that matters to them that they really want to kind of get excited about solving for. And so that's really kind of what I'm trying to do. And I work with a lot of businesses, but I also donate 20% of my time to nonprofits. And I've started a couple of nonprofits. And I'm kind of keen on the idea that the world needs people to be brilliant. The world doesn't need people to do more of the same stuff. I'm assuming it's a family show, so I'll say stuff. And so what we need to get people to do is actually kind of open their eyes. I hate to say this, I don't know, but put their phones down and just engage the world head on. So that's kind of, I'm imagining, I don't know, because I haven't been in Ecuador in like 50 years, but I'm imagining that if I walked to a town square, people would actually be talking with each other as opposed to glued to their cell phones. I don't know. Maybe it's changing there too.
It's the opposite, and it's far worse, I would say. And it's worse because of the amount of what they call estafas, or people are so worried about the next getting ripped off. Is kind of what it's about. The next clickbait situation, and it doesn't mean it's not resolvable, though. You're taking a very positive approach to something that I think is necessary. It's like we've got to have the positivity in this in order for people to believe and have hope, and we got to have the substance in my opinion. I teach my team about this a lot. Most of my team is from Central and South America, Alan, and I do speak Spanish fluently. My vision is to bridge the economic gap between North America, South America, and the rest of the world. And that's what I work on every single day, is how do I make that happen? And when we were talking about this as a team a few years ago, we were struggling to get people to be active in our Facebook group. And one of our team members, as we were masterminding about this, said, Jackson, I'm just going to be real. And they're a Latina. And they said, Latinos don't read. They're not going to read your course. And they're not going to write responses. And as I addressed this with them, I said, to be fair, if I didn't have hope of a future, I wouldn't read.
Right.
I would have no incentive to write either.
No, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
And so I then added to that, I said, what we need to be careful of as a team is we need to make sure that the hope that we provide for our people is not based in false realities or false expectations. Because if we play with people's hope, or we get people hopeful and we don't fulfill, then they become hopeless.
Oh yeah, that's where
it gets even worse.
Sure.
Yeah, we create more of a problem. So
again,
I'm super excited about what you're doing, Alan. You remind me, this is maybe a little bit too loose or too soon, but you remind me a lot of who opened my creativity, who got me to grow my hair out without ever talking to me. And it was JP Sears.
Okay.
You know who that is?
No. Tell me more.
Oh man. So JP Sears is a comedian, has gone very far politically recently, but he was doing these wonderfully hilarious episodes, making fun of polarizing people, whether it was minimalists or entrepreneurs or whatever. And he would just do these really onion style, genius level comedy about how awkward it is to be in a relationship with a vegetarian or to try to relate to a minimalist. And he just go to the extreme. And so he did a TED Talk on kind of learning to authentically embrace who you are, and not feel stuck and boxed in by the world. And his example combined with his TED Talk was a really big piece of allowing me to say, you know what? I can fully embrace who I am. And I don't have to hide from it. And that unleashes the curiosity and the innovation and all that too. And so there's something about you that reminds me of JP Sears.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I'll try to be humorous then, and I'll look him up online. Yeah, good. That sounds good.
Great leader. Phenomenal leader, man. So, Alan,
and I am a vegetarian, but we don't need to talk about that.
There you go.
I actually haven't eaten meat in 51 years.
Those poor vegetables, as JP would say.
I tell you, really. So. I'm growing them and killing them as we speak.
There it is.
I have a greenhouse out there. I am just growing them and killing them. Yeah, it's all good.
That's awesome. So, well,
and tell me about,
Alan.
We have how long? So your show, I looked, and it's like ranges. Some are 28, some are 48, some are. So we'll talk, and then you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I have plenty of time. If you ask a question, I don't have to do like a short little thingy thing.
No, so like for today, again, let's keep, we'll keep on the strategy stuff today, and we might produce some of this, what we talked about. If anything's off limits, let me know.
Politics and religion, only because I get a little bit too revved up about those topics.
Got you. I mean, if anything we've talked about already, you're like,
no, anything is fine, other than those two topics.
So this may turn into a beautiful episode, behind the scenes style episode. In the meantime, when we come back, let's say we set another one of these appointments. We've got a 30-minute window. We usually have about a 20-minute session, but I also have a live version. On the live version, we usually go for 40 to 60 minutes, somewhere in there. And then I have another show that we're in the middle of producing. We've got 2 episodes out for it. It's called the Be Your Best Show.
Okay.
That's for longer 90-minute to 3-hour sessions, Diary of a CEO style, good, bad, and ugly. Everything we can talk about to help people realize what it takes to be your best, not to be the best. We're not going for pretentious. We're going for people who really understand the value of just living our best lives.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a popular topic in our house. It's the reason our son is in Spain. I
Tell me about
simply
that.
told him he just, he was here and not so happy, and he had lived in Spain, and then he came back and COVID hit. And then he said, I was happier in Spain. And I said, "Hey, dude, it's all about you finding the place you're happiest." He's a bicyclist, and so, he rides through
Ah,
Catalonia every weekend. He camps, he rides. And so when we visited him in Austin, and I saw that he'd connected with a lot of people who are part of the cycling community, I just said, "Hey, if that's the place you want to be, and if bicycling is a big part of your life, and the job is going to be something that lets you then ride and be out in nature, that's perfect for me. It's your
ah,
life." So just, yeah. And
that's
so we'll
amazing.
see. I mean, it would
Well,
be easier for me if he moved to Austin, 3-hour flight, as opposed to a 9-hour flight. Yeah.
you'll have to let him know that you met a gringo who lives
Okay.
in Tulcan, Ecuador, because Tulcan, Ecuador is one of the cycling capitals of the world.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
need to know that. I might have him connect with you.
Yeah.
Because
It's got a great overlook called the Cyclist Overlook as well, and, like, they're all about cycling here.
Oh, wait. Okay. So I will look that up and send him a link. I mean, right now I think he has a few exams, but
Yeah.
I will send him a link to that. He just wants to be someplace where he can work, use his Spanish,
Yep.
and cycle, basically, if I'm being honest about it right now.
You might love it. Well, the reason why I'm here in Tulcan is because of how calm it is too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you don't really have to worry about anything here, and it's right on the border of Colombia, so you can go
Okay.
back and forth too, but it is high out. It's 10,000 feet altitude, so it's a little bit hard
Okay.
to get used to, for a few weeks, but, no, I think it's one of those hidden gems on the planet that most people haven't heard of.
And how big a place is it?
50,000 population, 100,000 daytime.
Okay.
So it's got like 2 long main roads, that go for 5 kilometers or
Right.
so, and that are within a couple weeks, you're like, "Oh, wow, I know most
Right.
of what is here and how to get around everywhere fast." So
And you've been there how long?
I've been here 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So
And you like it, or you're not necessarily gonna stay
I
there?
do. Well, I don't like the elevation.
Oh, you
That's
don't?
not
Okay.
for I'm a Texan, so I like heat. And so I'm looking at Cuenca, Panama, and Pereira,
Okay.
as 3 other potential hubs. But it's no, it's like what I like about it is just how calm it is. The people
Right.
are genuine, laid back. There's not a lot of there's some places in South America you got to be careful.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
say
I
that.
think for sure. I mean, there's places everywhere, but I think in South America for sure.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
Uh,
for
so
sure,
you just got to
definitely.
know the things you need to know, and then you're good. Okay.
So, Alan, here's my next weird question, regarding distribution strategy. And again, ideas you might have. I'm also the junior co-founder of Restaurant Connect.
Okay.
We built a dining room management reservation software that competed with OpenTable, competes with. And when in 2009 or so, we were working with the Masters Tournament Augusta to develop new features and software sets. And so we were really, really into fine dining and having the best experience in the world. And so they had the idea that when a server or when the host team would update that the check was paid, the system should text message the valet to go
Right.
get the car. And that way the guest is walking out and has a
Right.
seamless experience, unlike anything they've ever seen on earth. I'm looking for those ideas in the podcast world.
Okay.
And so if you have any ideas of things you've seen done in the past for podcasting that you think are applicable with Vision Pros Live, whether you think about it in 6 months, you're like, Jackson would love this, or you happen to have something in the next 6 seconds, anything that's applicable that helps us move this needle forward, make this even better.
Good. Good. I mean, I have some ideas, but let me think about it, and then we'll talk more. I think I've done related to the book launch around 35 podcasts, and I see some being better than others at
Mhm.
getting their ideas out in front of people. And so let me kind of digest that, and I'll share whatever I figured out.
Uh,
Yeah,
that's
good.
perfectly fair.
Okay,
Um,
good.
do you want connected to other podcasters in the meantime whose shows I've been on and I really liked?
Yeah. So if my, realistically, my target audience is entrepreneurs and folks in good sized companies or organizations that could ultimately hire me to come and speak. I mean,
Mhm.
that's where the economics are for me.
Yep.
So, any ideas you have of folks who reach out into those places, you know, I'm just hoping,
Huge.
with each podcast, I'm hoping to do two things. One is I'm hoping to be valuable to the audience,
Yep.
whether they ever follow up with me. And then secondarily, I would like someone in the audience to go, whoa, you know, I'm part of this organization. We should bring this guy in and get a bit more of his ideas related to what we do. So those are the two things. So any ideas
Huge.
you have about other folks that you're connected with, that would be great. I view
Always.
if I have a window on my calendar and I can get ideas out to more people, I'm great with that. You know, and I'm great also with, though I realize in Latin America that English is less spoken depending where you are. But we're looking. My wife, bless her heart, just retired, and so we're looking for places that we'd like to go to visit where I can share ideas and we can explore. And so, and a lot of places in South America are on my list. And yeah, so if you have ideas of that too, that's all good.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful to be talking. Let's be honest. I mean,
Right.
there was a time I didn't know if I would ever get my ideas out anymore.
Mhm.
My neurologist didn't think I'd ever speak again.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
I,
glad to talk. I'm glad to share what I've learned. I'll go through my notes. I have like a sheet of
when
all the
I love
podcasts.
and appreciate too, Alan, though, that you also have the intentionality to understand that there are levels of impact, right? So if you only wanted to talk, then standing outside Walmart might be a good idea, right? But you also want to make an impact at a higher level and be very purposeful with it. So I agree with that. I sent you an email series just now.
Okay.
I'd sent out to select podcast guests. It'll have 5 podcast hosts per email for about
Okay.
4 weeks. And of course, if the episode feels aligned, just tell them, "Hey, Jackson sent me."
Okay. Perfect. I appreciate it.
Jackson's VIP,
Super.
and bam. So you can choose which
Great.
ones you want to be on for that. They're all shows that I've been on. And
Okay.
so, and yes, from a business standpoint, first class business, I teach sustainable revenue growth to legacy driven entrepreneurs. Um, 2, I remember when I was working at Video Power Marketing full time, and my first sales call came in. I was getting my golf bag out of the car, and we had a great lifestyle at Video Power. And I answered, "This is Jackson, Video Power. How can I help you?" And the guy goes, "I just wanted to make sure you guys spoke English." And I said, "Yes, sir. How can I help you today?" He said, "Well, my name is Todd. I'm the owner of Laserway. We have 8 laser hair removal clinics. And I just heard Jake Larson on a podcast that I listen to religiously. And the podcast host said, Jake is the YouTube ad expert of the world. I shouldn't do this, but take my money." And I'm going, what planet am I on? This never has ever happened in the
Wow.
sales world. And of course I took care of Todd and made sure he was good. And over 2 years, we took them from 8 locations. Well, I shouldn't say we took them. They learned how to go from 8 locations to 40 locations
Wow.
nationwide. And we had some pretty heavy advice for them on cost per acquisition and lifetime value and paying attention to what they're up to. But the reason why I share that is you're absolutely right. You get on the right podcasts, you share the right type of message, then those types of calls do come in,
Right.
or can come in.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I think it's incredibly valuable and important, Alan, that, I just want to say it in case somebody hasn't said it today or this week. You have something that matters tremendously to 8 billion people.
Well, I don't know,
And
but I'm
most of them
trying.
don't
I'm
know
trying my
about it.
best. Yeah. No,
Well,
I
from
think
what I've seen,
no, I
most don't.
appreciate that. And I think the thing you said that always rings true to me, and I often say it is that we actually create serendipity. And so, people say, oh, it was serendipitous that I met that person. And I say, you actually put yourself in a position to meet that person. And so if we just sit on our butts, nothing's going to happen. But and it's all tied to what I talk about in business, and that is we got to get out there and engage the world. We don't know who we'll
Huge.
connect with. My last book, which was called The Necessity of Strangers, I wrote that each day we pass 100 people who could change our lives. We just don't connect with them. And so the more we connect with them, the more good things happen. And I'm not in this necessarily to kind of grow my business. I'm in it first to kind of share something that I've learned of value. And if
Yeah.
it turns out then that my business grows, that's awesome.
I love that. And we also look at that. I was actually about to say, yes, you got these two books, The Necessity of Strangers and The Wisdom of Ignorance, Why Not Knowing Can Be the Key to Innovation in an Uncertain World, which reminds me a lot of a recent book launch of Pat Flynn, talking about unlearning. And
Right.
so it really, really draws my attention because this is a subject that I don't think we can really receive enough of, is understanding how to think outside the box, and how
Right.
to dive into this innovation you talked about. I will add for entrepreneurs and visionaries who are listening in, Alan didn't say that the finances are not important. What I heard Alan say was financial success is the byproduct of taking great care of people, of doing what we're meant to do. And so I think a lot of people out there who are visionaries end up following the curve path that I ended up following for far too long, which was I used to say I didn't care about the money,
Right.
and I didn't. And the money didn't care about me either.
Right.
And as long as I was going to act as an unwise steward, as long as I wasn't going to pay attention to where my resource was or what was going on with my resources, I wasn't going to retain
Right.
or build my resources. And so the intentionality of tying those two factors together of, yes, we love to speak, we love to share our visions clearly, and the byproduct of doing so is success.
Right.
Like that's awesome. Like, let's go for that. So
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
you're exactly right. So, no, but I always think, I see so many businesses that are just focused on the bottom line and they
Yeah.
forget what they do and who they do it for. And if you can't make a change in someone's life that's for the better or a customer's life, I think you don't deserve to be compensated. But
Yeah.
if you do, then you'll be compensated. So if you focus, for me, it's a question of focus, right? So I
You've
think, of
inspired
course,
me.
you have to focus on everything, and you do have to focus on the bottom line to be a viable business. But if I had my druthers, I'd focus on making sure our customers were happy.
Yes.
Every time I give a speech, I'm absolutely focused on I'm going to leave everything on the field, and and then I'm going to be there and be available before and after, and I'm just going to make sure that I don't leave as long as there's something I can share that would be valuable to somebody in the audience, and then I'll leave and I'll get a good meal. I don't know.
Well, you've inspired me
Okay.
tremendously. So you did it again, Alan. You did it again
Uh-oh.
because you said they focus on the bottom line. And I'll say this, those who focus on the bottom line, where do they end up? At the bottom.
Right.
That's where
No,
they
I
end up.
like that.
96% of businesses lose within 10 years. And
Right.
that's a 50+ year statistic.
Right.
4% survive. And I think one of the greatest realities is instead of being aware, cognizant,
Right.
and looking and intentional with their bottom line, they're obsessing
Right.
over their bottom lines and losing track of so many other important
Right.
realities. So again, well said, super important wisdom for the world and visionaries who are listening in. Again, we'll see if we release this. I think we will.
Okay.
If I got your permission to do it, I'd love to release this.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine with me.
Awesome.
Okay,
Then we'll use
super.
it.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a vision pro yourself.